Hello folks, and welcome back to the Vertigo Tea Party, and let's play Nioh. So we're going to start on the, well, second mission, I guess, technically. So we'll read this and then we'll hop off. Kuroshima is a tiny island off the coast of Yusaki in Kyushu's Bungo province. There's a little in the way of usable land, with coastline rapidly giving way to cliffs and mountains. Clinging to its edge is the smallest of fishing villages, its residents eking out subsistence farming on plots carved out from the hills. Their frugal lives stand in stark contrast to the village elder, whose opulent mansions perch atop the island's tallest peak, strangely oversized for the small island which it overlooks. You guys ready to be back? Oh, I'm ready to be back. Even though it's only been a few minutes for me. Maybe even less for you if you're watching in a playlist. Which I do have a playlist set up, so make sure you're checking that out. It's kind of a bummer you lose all that gear. But oh well. It is what it is. So again, as usual, I will be discussing some of the mechanics as we get to them. But I don't want to overburden like the beginning with too much just talking about mechanics. Put our weapon on. Yes, and as you can see, we have lost everything. Except for our mariner's shirt, pants, and boots. That's enough. So is there a mariner's only, hands only run of the game yet? Probably is. Do we have any skill points yet? We do have 2 skill points. We are going to get, and again, I want to go into this later, but I want to get more into the action-y stuff first, and then we'll kind of double back and talk about skill points and all that. So I want to get Flux 1. And we still only have 1 point left. There's nothing I really want that's only 1 point. So we're going to hold off on that. And this is what shrines will look like for what I imagine will be the rest of the game. We'll go ahead and pray at it. We get a little bit of Amrita for praying at a shrine for the first time. Amrita, again, is the experience. We're offline. I want to go ahead and connect. I don't know why it defaults to offline. There we go. There is no PvP in the game. Right now, they've talked about adding it as a free feature later. And again, I'm only come over here just because, again, I've played the demo enough. Or I've played enough to know where all this stuff is. So yeah, this stage was... So you can see things didn't go well for these guys. Looks like they were trying to get away, and that guy either pulled the ladder up or didn't lower the ladder. Because he is a really good true friend. And you might imagine that just may be a shortcut later on. And we're not going to walk out of the water because if we hit deep water, we'll die. So we've got enough to level. So let's talk about the stats really quickly. Actually, you know what? Let's just level up first. I'll put my point in body because we do have a spear as our main weapon. And as we talked about earlier, spears scale with body, which means they do more damage as we put more points into body. Get another item here. I do like that the game has kind of a double tutorial. Like, it's got an actual tutorial, and it goes through and talks about... the mechanics are talked about as well. Definitely want those backstabs. I almost call it back attacks, because somebody, one time a long time ago, I heard call them back attacks, and I always thought that was, I don't know why, but hilarious to call it back attack. But anyway, so let's talk about what you might have noticed me doing there, where my stamina was dropping from attacks, as you would normally expect, but then all of a sudden shooting back up. So that's called a key pulse. So I'm going to try to explain this as we fight. I apologize if I butcher it horribly. You just have to forgive me. Well, you don't have to do anything, but... I'll kill the bastards myself. Well, didn't look like that happened, sir. So when you attack, as you saw, we drop out of stamina, or we lose Key. Gotta stop calling it stamina, it's key. We use up our key. And you'll notice there's like a red line that kind of shows you how much we've lost. And then there's a blue line that fills up to the end of the red. But then all of a sudden it disappears. And then our green bar starts to grow. You son of a bitch. Jerk. Don't take kindly to people who hit me very much. So yes, after the red bar goes away, there's the blue line that fills up, and then when the blue line goes away, there is the it just disappears, and then your green bar key goes up like normal. What the blue line is it tells you how much key you can get back if you do a key pulse. And you do a key pulse by pressing 1. So if I do attack a few times, oh, and of course I messed it up. Wow, I keep messing up. Am I hitting the wrong key? Yes, it's R1. I'm hitting L1. It's like I can do it a million times. The first time I try to describe it, I'm going to mess it up. I could have fought back. Yeah, you maybe could have. So it's R1 to get your stamina back. So, and obviously you want to wait until the blue bar is higher to get a full key pulse. And there's all the rewards you get as well for doing it at the max. And you can tell when you've done it at the max by the graphic around your chest. So here's a non-maxed. You know, so it's just a little bit of a glow. Now here's a full one. You notice there's more of a graphical effect. And you want to do a max, other than the obvious reasons, you want to get max if possible. So Revenants. Revenants are basically the bloodstains of people who have died. And you can summon a Revenant to fight. Now, you're not actually summoning that player to fight. You're summoning a Revenant, which has the gear that they have on. Now, I don't think this has been confirmed one way or the other yet, but the idea is that when you kill a Revenant, it will drop one or more pieces of the gear that user was wearing. So for example, if, let's look at the gear that we've picked up, that he just dropped this, right? So let's say I died here, and then I left the Revenant, and somebody else summoned my Revenant. Again, they're not summoning me as a player, they're just summoning a copy of what my character's wearing. So when that character, if they kill my Revenant, it has a chance of dropping any of the items that I was wearing at that time. Now, some people have speculated that it's not necessarily the exact gear you drop, but that gear's skill level, or I'm sorry, that gear's quality level. So for example, if I've got a purple helm and they beat my Revenant and it drops a purple, it can just drop a purple helm, not necessarily the exact helm that I was wearing. If that makes sense. So typically in Dark Souls and From Souls-like games, there we go. Knock him down. Oh, well. He's knocked down all right, but he is quite dead. But as I was saying, I typically have a rule in games like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, etc. Once I've got enough experience to level, I go back to the bonfire all the time. It's not worth risking a level, especially early levels, to unnecessarily. Even if I have to re-clear, it's just not worth it. I forgot to keep ults there, my bad. It's just not worth it. And I've seen so many people... lose one or more levels worth of experience in Bloodborne, Blood Souls, whatever you want to call it, type games, just because they didn't want to go back to their bonfire. They didn't want to have to re-clear and all that. If you are new to this type of game, and even if you're not, I strongly suggest that if you're new to the game, definitely go back as soon as you get a level. Yes, re-clearing can get a little bit old. Yes, going back can get old, but one, you are not going to take a chance of losing your souls. And again, losing those levels, especially early on, can really screw you up. We were going to avoid aggroing those guys, so I'm going to pull him back. Key pulse, attack in the back, knock him down, finishing blow. So speaking of finishing blows, we're going to buy a skill real fast. Where is it? Grapple. Grapple's an enemy who's out of key, then follows with a powerful attack. Also, you can hit triangle, and most combos and special moves will actually show you a little video so you can get an idea how it works, which is awesome, by the way. But we definitely going to pick up grapple. We absolutely want that, and I will, hopefully, at least, show you how that works very soon. Going back to what I was saying about playing cautiously. Oh, a purple spear, right? Already? Nice. Talking about playing carefully. I, again, strongly advise it for new folks. Again, over and over, people ignore that advice and then lose souls and then regret it. Or lose souls, levels and all that. So, strongly advise it. But then you might say, wait a minute. If you look at the bottom right there, where my Amrita is, you'll see that I actually have enough to level. Whoa, I got the people mixed up. I thought he was in the way, so that's why I went for a second attack there. But you might say, okay, so you've got more than a level, but you're still fighting. That's the grapple. And yes, that is very true. However, in my defense, I have played this stage a lot, and I feel very comfortable with the controls and all of that. So I'm actually going to risk it. And just from a viewer standpoint, I feel like it'll be more worthwhile to watch me, risk, quote unquote risk it. Now, of course, I'm going to say all this and then die and lose all my souls. Or lose all my experience. My Amrita, whatever you want to call it. I'll probably call it souls many times, accidentally and otherwise. But it's worth it. So I've kind of been talking about losing your souls, losing your experience, stuff like that. So some of you who are not familiar with Dark Souls might be saying, what the hell are you talking about? Here's another Revenant. And by the way, and this is something I did not know until recently. You'll see there is this bloody grave, and then it's got the person's name as Zipangu. If it's red, that's an NPC. That's a player or a developer put bloody grave. So these will be there even if you are not online. I don't know why we can't get online. I'm guessing it's just server issues, first day and all that crap. But before we fight this guy, you'll see here again, he's got a purple breastplate, a yellow, almost everything else, and then blue gloves. So you're not going to want to fight every single bloody grave, but especially for weapons, or if you're like, oh man, I really need a headpiece. The headpiece I've got is crap. If you see somebody with a purple headpiece, probably want to go ahead and fight them. And especially early on, we are going to want to fight a good bit of these guys. That was a bad time to look away. Oh shit. And you can get knocked off. Ooh, come on. Yeah. Come on. Now he's got a spear too, so I got to be careful with my... I don't have a range advantage on him. But he's out of stamina now, so he gets grappled. And murdered. So again, stamina management, very important, even for your NPC enemies. And you might want to employ a strategy that you target their key, because there are special attacks, special combos that do more damage to key than straight up hit point damage. And we're gonna grapple again. Oh, so satisfying. And earlier on, I mentioned that you don't get a backstab in this game. That's mostly true. You can unlock it later as a skill. I actually missed something down here. I just remembered. And I was just talking about something and I completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh no, but it's not here. I thought it was. Take that, Scarecrow. Yep, I must have got this place mixed up with somewhere else. Anyway, that was just telling us about how to key pulse. We understand how to key pulse. But there's also key flux. Oops, he's low on stamina, so we want to get him down. And that's done. You also always want to be on the lookout for enemies. You can see up there, there's a guy. There's an archer. Grab this item. He can't see us behind the rock. So there they're talking about Amrita gauge. Again, I really hate how many different things they use the term Amrita for. So if you look at the top there, and I'll show you this in a minute. Who needs to block arrows? Oh shit. That's not where we want to go. When that Amrita gauge is full, at the top left where that little shark thing is, that's your spirit animal. And you can see that it's like glowing. So when you press, what was it? Circle and triangle, you summon whatever your spirit animal is, and your health bar changes to that bar at the top. You no longer have stamina. You also do not take any health damage. So if you get hit during this, you don't take health damage. However, it does count down on your gauge. So if normally, let's say you have 10 seconds of the spirit animal attack mode, you would instead have like 5. So you do not, like, you know, if possible, you don't want to be hit. All right, let's grab this stuff. We're going to go up there and ruin this guy's day in a second. We got a charm. We'll use that in a second as well. Gotta remember how to get up to that guy. I don't think... No, I can't. You can hear some scary sounds. I wonder what that could be. Hopefully I'm explaining some of this stuff to you guys well. If you're not from... If the explanation of the key stuff wasn't very helpful, I do have a video, shameless self-promotion. I do have a video about how to use it, or how it works. All right, we're going to wait because there's 2 guys there. One's a wanderer, and we got the archer over here, which actually, yeah, we're out of his range, so we're good to go there. But I do have a video on my channel called, I think it's just called like how key pulse works. I don't know. I'll link it in the description below the video, because there I'm obviously able to focus exclusively on just explaining how it works. I also now we got a fighting chance. Do you really? But I also show how it works in slow motion. Oh god, you got to be very careful with that. If you are not on even ground with the enemy, it can cause some very unfortunate things to happen. But yeah, I use slow-mo, all kinds of things to make it more obvious how all of the key stuff works, the key pulse stuff works. Before we go down there, which we definitely want to, we're going to kill this archer. Gonna get this first, because we cannot resist shiny things, of course. No point in trying to sneak up on this guy. But yeah, definitely check that video out if key pulsing, key fluxing, which I've not even talked about yet, is a little confusing to you. And don't feel dumb. It's a weird concept to kind of get your head around. And I know originally, and this is another dev body grave, karmic punishment, shot down by outlaw. That's another thing. If you see these dev bloody graves, pay attention to how they say they died, because that can give you tips on what's in the area. Traps, drop-offs in the water, things of that nature. So we're going to go ahead and summon this guy. I need to check my gear too. It's been a while. I'm going to try to avoid checking my gear too much. Look at those criticals. Beautiful. Come on. Ah, you little bastard. That's what it is. Nice fast attack. Lost track of what I was talking about there. Damn it. But, let's go this way first, because there's something over here I want to grab, and some hidden items. Damn it. Actually, no. I mean, it's exactly what I wanted to do all along. Of course. Oh, hello. That actually caught me off guard. Was not expecting him. And when you're fighting these guys, especially in, any enemy, you want to be careful. Like, for example, there, he came out of this way, and I could have been very aggressive and attacked him this way, but we don't know if there's another enemy up here. Now, with my Spirit Shark gives you enemy vision, so on the minimap, you might have noticed when there's enemies around, there's like little red dots on the minimap, which also makes the shark really good spirit animal to choose if you're new to a new map to you. So you can see enemies hiding around corners, things like that. Here's an item we couldn't get before. We're going to drop down and grab this and circle back around. And we're going to take a quick peek at our gear. Oh, one thing I was going to say was, you don't want to watch me fiddling around with gear a whole lot, right? It's not going to be overly interesting if every time something drops, I'm constantly stopping to look at it. Most of my gear checking is probably going to happen off camera, unless something like it looks really good drops. Then I'm probably not going to be looking at it a whole lot. Ooh, let's go with that one. That way, again, you guys don't have to watch as I'm like, this has got better defense, but it's got stats I like. Excuse me. Again, nobody wants to see that. So I'll also skip things like if I need to go buy and sell, I won't show that. Maybe the first time, just to kind of show you how it works. But after that, not so much. We found this shrine. But I do not want to rest there yet, because we're not ready to go this way. We are going to explore the maps. That's another thing to make clear. I very much enjoy exploring. I like to find everything that I can, all of that good stuff. So we will be exploring all the maps. Hopefully, again, you guys are into that. We are going to go here first. Whoa, hey. Oh, this wasn't here when I played before. That's very strange. These guys are a pain in the butt, because they can grab you and poison you. Actually, you know what? We're going to play the safe bet. Again, I tend to be, despite me running around with all these souls, Amrita, whatever, I do tend to play very, very defensively, cautiously, paranoid, some may say. Many may say, including me. But this first stage again, I feel confident enough. I love the way he gets down ladders, by the way. Confident enough that I can risk it a little bit more. So this is probably the guy that the dude down there was complaining about. I was like, he's not seriously going to leave us here. So, as you probably figured out, now that we've kicked this ladder to open it, what do we have down here? We have the shrine. So we will go ahead and level. We got 3,200. At this point, that's probably like, that's at least 2 levels, maybe 3. So let's talk about let's talk about the stats a little bit. So very quickly, body gives you hit points. Heart increases your ki or stamina, same thing in this case. Even though we're going to use ki because there's a stat called stamina, which doesn't affect ki. Instead, it affects how much you can carry. So if you're going to go for very heavy armor, this is something that you're going to want to focus on. It also gives you hit points as well. Strength will allow you to Certain armor you only get the benefit of fully from having higher strength, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. Skill, same thing. Only get the benefit of using it if you have higher skill. Dexterity affects your ninjutsu, which is not quite spellcasting, but it's more like supplementary things, throwing stars, gas, grenades, things of that nature. Magic is, well, magic, it's called Unmyo magic. I'm not really going to use much magic or a ton of the ninjutsu stuff on this run, but it is good to get those a little bit higher for various purposes. Dexterity also factors into some armor, I believe. And spirit affects the power of your guardian spirit, or your spirit animal, as I always call it. So, again, for a while, we're actually going to be putting our points into body, because, again, this not only gives us more hit points, it also is the primary scaling stat of the spear. So, not only does it give us hit points, which you can see on the right-hand side, it also gives us damage. So, let's go ahead and put all 3 points into that. Now, because we rested there, things will have respawned. So there is that. So let's look at the boons. I beat the demos and I also pre-ordered. So there's a lot of things that I get here. And I'm going to show you these items. However, I'm a bit hesitant to use them because they might be a bit overpowered. I don't really know yet. So we have the Ogress Mask. It's nice and light. It's actually considered medium armor. This is also, I think, yes, from that's medium. There's a light armor. Because we're probably going to shoot for light or medium. Heavy armor is just way too heavy. That's definitely not how we're going to go. Well, almost certainly not. Let's go with, let's pick this. This looks goofy. Let's go with the Ogress stuff. So I'd be curious what you guys think in the comments below. The Red Devotion. But before I continue, let me just say this. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about using the DLC stuff. Again, it feels like early on it might be overpowered. It might make things a little bit too easy, especially given that I'm already familiar with the game in this level. So let me know if you guys think yay or nay on using it. Obviously I'll make the ultimate decision, but I'm curious what you guys think. So you can hit the help here, which is just the options button, and you can go through and it'll tell you what these various stat effects are. So in this armor, in other words, it gives you damage reduction, 4.6%, defense, which is +6, and defense affects how much ki you lose when you block an attack. So obviously higher is better. This is where it gets a little weird. Received damage from attack critical. So this means that when you are at critical health, or in other words, low health, this reduces the amount of damage you take by 12.5%. And this is a special bonus. If something is green like that, that means it's a set item bonus. So if you played Diablo, you'll know what this means. Basically, there's multiple items that have, for example, the red of devotion, and the more of it you have, the more benefits you get from it. So I can close out of that and hit L2, and this will tell us what the set bonus is. So at 2 pieces of red of devotion, we get final blow damage plus 16%, which is okay. We don't usually do final blow. We usually do grapple, so it's not that great. 3 pieces, we get plus 5 ki or stamina, and I'll stop calling it stamina here shortly, but I want to kind of ingrain it into Dark Souls folks' head that it's ki. 4 pieces, you gain 12.5 skill damage, which is skills that you unlock in the skill tree, which we'll go over probably in another video. 5 pieces, close combat attack critical at plus 25%. This means increased close combat damage when health is low. I don't like anything that's plus anything when you're critical because I don't plan to stay at critical. So I don't consider that effect to be very, very good. Obviously, if you're building that way, it's fine, but for me, not all that useful. You can also get some background text with L2, which is cool. But you also get, this has got Nioh Incarnate. I want to see what bonus this has. Oh, it doesn't have any set. Interesting on the mask. It's just cool looking. So for now, that's heavy armor. Wow, that's super heavy. Chest pieces are insanely heavy, or tend to be the heaviest by a fairly large margin. So Nioh Incarnate, let's look at the bonuses very quickly. Key recovery when guarding at 2 pieces, which is actually not bad. 3 pieces gives you life. 4 pieces gives yokai damage reduction, which are demons, which we'll cover later. And earn from yokai 16%. Both of those benefits do not really help us much right now because we're not going to be fighting a whole lot of those. We'll go ahead and get this armor on because I at least want to like try the armor out right now, just because I want to see how it looks, honestly. Let's see. We're going to go with the Crimson again. I'll go with the full, or mostly full set. So now we are at, what, 4 pieces on that, I believe? Yeah, plus skill damage, so that's cool. What does the face look like of the red? I just want to see. That mask is pretty creepy. But that's the full red set. But we're going to keep the Ogress mask because it looks freaky deaky. All right, let's see. Since we've... 30 minutes is generally what I'm going to shoot for on the videos. But since this video has been a lot of talking, which again, I'm definitely open to criticism, feedback, as long as you're not a total dickhole about it. Definitely open to criticism. So if you guys have positive, negative feedback, definitely let me know for both. Let's go ahead and grab some skills though while I'm thinking about it. We can't do Key Flux 2 yet. Quick draw. Oh, that's the sword. Where are the spear? And by the way, there are some things like grapple and Key Flux. You only need to buy it once. You do not need to buy it per weapon. But I want to talk more about the skills in a later video because again, we've kind of already done a lot of talking here. Let's go with something that's going to be very useful. Activate when you recover full key from a key pulse. Raises the damage caused by your next attack. Only 1 point? Absolutely. And that only works in mid stance, and that is fine. That's a sweep, which is pretty darn good. Enables you to key pulse even when dodging. That's also incredibly good. It's 3 points, as you can see on the side. We have 4, but worth buying right now. So that's all we're going to buy right now, because again, I kind of want to get into a little bit more action. And I definitely hope you guys don't mind too much that I'm trying to combine like tutorial with, oh, nope, not quite. Tutorial with action stuff. So, all right, let's go over here. Always be on the lookout for stuff like that, obviously. Oh, come on. These guys, yeah, these guys, that attack, they will jump on you and spit poison on you, and you will take damage over time. It is not overly fun. So we haven't even talked about stances yet. So you very quickly, it's like my catchphrase, very quickly. High stance, medium, and low. To very briefly describe them, high stance is stronger attacks that are slower, use more stamina. Medium is mid attacks that use medium stamina and use medium damage. Low attacks are, low stance attacks are quick and they use very low stamina. But since this guy's not paying attention, let's go ahead and use a strong attack. Now with these guys in particular, you've really got to watch it. So low attacks also not always hit low as well. So enemies like that fall down or just are low to the ground, you're going to want to make sure that you are using the correct attack. And again, that's a big part of this game, is knowing which attacks and which stances to use in any given situation. So here's a Kodama. You will find these guys hidden around. When you find them, you want to guide them back. And guide them back, I mean, you just press the button. You don't actually have to guide them, which is really nice. And we'll talk about Kodamas in another video. But Bloody Grave, I died here. Bye-bye Revenant. Again, I'm pretty sure all the red names are devs. Because I think we're still offline for some reason. But again, we're probably, for at least a little while, going to fight all of these Revenants. Oh. Oh, whoa. That was weird. See, I did the attack to do the final blow, but it didn't actually do it. Oof. Now, Revenants, you have to be really fast. If you run them out of stamina, they are out of stamina for a very, very short amount of time. So if you're going to grapple them, you need to be right on the ball. Hello, Mr. Archer. Again, these guys are back because we rested at a shrine. Ooh. Decapitated him as he fell. Just in case, you know, the fall wouldn't have done it. So I want to clear these guys out. Another piece of like beginner type advice I would give is to take your time. I'm going through this area pretty quickly, but again, it's because I've played this so much, I know what this section is like. I'm used to the combat, I'm used to all of that stuff, etc. So take your time, don't get in a rush, because that is the number one thing that is going to kill you, is getting in a rush. Especially when you're fighting an enemy and you're like, oh, this enemy's almost dead. I need to get one extra little attack. And then that extra attack, because of the timing, because you rush yourself, ends up getting you killed. I see it all the time. It's happened to me countless times. So be wary of that. And again, I will try to give tips to folks that are new to this game in particular, or this type of game as well. Again, I'm not trying to make like I'm a pro. I most certainly am not. But I feel like I do have a very good amount of experience in this game in particular. All right, this is going to drive me nuts because I cannot remember. And if I can't find this soon, I am going to cut recording until I do find it. It might be up there, but I don't think it is. But there's another area that I'm looking for, which has another one of our little Kadama friends, and I want to send him back. And again, enemies one at a time. Be patient. Learn which enemies you can stagger as well. That's incredibly important. Those enemies, every time I hit them, they do what's called a stagger, which means that it interrupts their attack, and they interrupt their attack is a big thing. Now, these bigger guys, you might not have noticed, but there are some of these guys who are slightly larger than their little buddy counterparts, and they don't always stagger. So sometimes you can hit them in the middle of an attack, but they'll go ahead and finish that attack, and that will mess you up pretty badly. Ooh, we got a ranged weapon finally. Oh, we actually already had one. Shit. Ranged weapons are great, and you should definitely get used to using those quite a bit. Cut down by an outlaw. Again, these give you a good idea of what to expect. And if you play Dark Souls, you already know this. But anytime you see something like this is a trap. There's an enemy completely oblivious to you. You think to yourself, easy prey, you run in, and then all of a sudden, those enemies you didn't see to the side cut you down. So we're going to use our bow, and headshots matter here. So you see 1 shot, 1 kill. And I want to get his stuff. So we're going to go ahead. I actually didn't really want to go this far yet, but it's weird. It's weird there's a little clipping there, but now he had a helmet on, so you notice that knocked his helmet off. Now if I'd have hit him again, I'd have gotten a critical. So again, I kept attacking there because I knew he was low on stamina. Typically I would not have. I'd have waited a little bit. I love the decapitation and the arm cutting off and all that. Very, very bloody game. We're gonna go ahead and... Nope. Again, also, sound very, very, very important in a game like this. Oop. Overextended a bit. Let's fight back here. I'm gonna go back here because I want to get these guys in a narrower path. And see also... come on. Alright, so see, that almost killed me. That very well could have. But the axe guy is very low on stamina. And one thing you'll learn is that enemies that use axes tend to run out of stamina very quickly. Finish move. There we go. Enemies who use axes run out of stamina very, very quickly. Use that to your advantage. Draw them out, get them to use their big attacks. Hit them a few times, into the red, and then you've got your counterattack. But be careful because the axe guys also do a ton of damage. They also tend to, when they swing, hit behind them. So don't think just because you're behind them or flanking them to the side that you're safe. A lot of times those axe swings that looks like they should miss you will hit. So let's kill these two. Oop. Alright, we're going to see if we can't knock this guy off the edge. Another thing that you really need to get used to early on is key pulsing. Make sure you learn to key pulse. Again, key pulse is the thing where you wait till the blue bar is up to the max and then hit R1. That is one of, if not the most important aspects of this game that you're definitely going to want to learn. Ooh, sweet hammer. Ooh. Oh, nope. Now see, normally I would not have attacked there. Now he's right close to the edge. Oh shit. Alright, be very careful. See, again, even being more familiar with it, there's a few times there I could have died if he would have chose to continue attacking or if he would have done another attack. But yeah, key pulsing, absolutely learn how to do it. And it's going to be one of those things that you're going to unless you're a master, then it's going to be one of those things you're going to probably have to do a bunch to get the hang of. So don't fret too much if you don't get it right off the bat. Well, that could have went a little better. Now I do also realize that I'm like staying in this stance a lot. I am going to mix it up a bit more a little bit later on, but honestly, mid stance for spear is very, very good. But low stance is fun in itself. All right, so now we're kind of doubling back to where we were already. And again, I don't want to go that way just yet for reasons. So I'm actually going to look and try to find that one area that I was talking about before. I'll pick you guys up there when I do. Okay, so I grossly overshot where this little guy was. So this is right at the beginning, just FYI. Oh, excuse me. There's the very first enemy you kill is right over there. If you come over here, behind this little wagon... Oh, and the Kodama will hide if you attack, which is pretty amusing, but they'll pop back out eventually. Let's go say hello to him. Send him on back. You absolutely, positively want to find all the Kodama and send them back. Again, I'll talk more about them later on and why you want to send them back, but absolutely do that. Now, there are items, which actually we did get some charms. Charms are like a special slot. You have 2 of them, and they're kind of like special items, as you'll see. So let's see, the Dancer's Fan, we have +2 key, which is stamina. Luck, which increases your chance of finding rare items. Short recovery time. Out of key. Reduce the time it takes before you can perform actions again after your key's been fully depleted. Wow, that's actually pretty nice. So we're going to put that in one slot for sure. Let's see what the other things are. Versus Yokai Realm, not very good. Received firearms damage. Again, you shouldn't be taking any damage, but specifically firearms is very specific. Elemental damage reduction. Guarding. So this reduces the amount of elemental damage you take while you're guarding. So because remember earlier I talked about how if you guard a melee attack, you'll block all of it. But if it's elemental like fire, you'll take a little bit of damage. So that reduces some of that. Again, not that important right now. Now we have versus Earth, versus Yokai Realm, Onmyo Magic Power, and Familiarity Bonus. We'll go ahead and put that one there because, well, our current one's not that great anyway. And again, I promise we will talk about all of this stuff in more detail later on. Oh, look, see, we'd have forgot this too, or we'd have missed this too. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Looks like hiding behind those boxes didn't work for you, buddy. Sorry about that. But yeah, we'll be wrapping up here. There was one other thing. Oh, let's go ahead and go to that one shrine that we had found earlier that I was skipping. Let's kill one of these big guys here first. Let's see. Again, be careful. I forgot that guy was over there, and I started to go run and aggro him, but you would have gotten both. Which again, if you're learning the game still, that can be very, very dangerous. And again, I do promise we will get into stance switching and whatnot later on. But again, I already feel like I'm over talking, explaining how things work, etc. But I do think it's important you kind of understand how the game works, even if you're not going to play it. Oh, see again, stamina low. Hit him once. Grapple, do a ton of damage. LOL. Ooh, get hit. Another important thing about stance. Notice he will change stances too. So he's in a high stance now. Now he's in medium. Again, it's important you pay attention to this stuff because if he's in a low stance, you need to be more careful because he can attack much faster. If he's in a high stance, you also need to be careful because attacks will be slower, but they'll also do more damage. And this might all seem very overwhelming if you're new to this type of game. Like, oh, I can't keep up with this key pulse and stances and key fluxes. And it is a ton to take in initially. Believe me, I know. I tend to be the type of person, it takes me a while to really get a grasp on things. Okay, that just takes us back to that shortcut. I just wanted to be sure. I am one of those people who it takes me longer to get things like that. Like, I have to really repetitively do them over and over before it clicks for me. But once you do start to understand all the mechanics and you start pulling them off without like giving it too much thought, it really, really, really is very rewarding combat system. Ability to receive Kodama Blessing has been unlocked. We'll just say okay on that. We'll cover that again in the next video. And we're going to wrap up here very, very shortly, but there's like 1 or 2 enemies up here and items. I want to grab those real quick. And also notice on my mini-map, you can see the enemy. He's like a little red dot. Again, you only get that if you have... Oh, what? If you have the shark as your spirit animal. One other thing I was going to mention and distracted myself, as I always do, is I did remember earlier how... hold on. See, one, not only is he telling you about giving you a hint to use the bow and arrow there, he's also telling you where to find a bow. That was pretty neat. But I mentioned earlier about finding the Kodamas and all of that. If you want a little help finding Kodamas, there are items which have Kodama scents on them. Usually they're going to be one of these charms, but you can find armor that has Kodama scents on them. Now, unless the armor is like total crap, if it's your first time playing a stage, I strongly, strongly advise, in no uncertain terms, that you equip whatever it is that has Kodama scents until you find all the Kodamas on that stage. And the game does tell you if you've got them all or not. I forget where, but it does. So I'm going to switch to high stance here. Boom, man, one shot. Let's kill this one guy, last guy, as our send-off. And just for grins, let's fight him in high stance. You notice also I did a different dodge there while I'm in high stance. It also consumes more stamina. That's the low, or that's the quick attack. So you can still see even the quick attack in high stance is fairly slow, but it also does more damage. So yeah, that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys are still enjoying. Again, I hope I'm not overly, I know this is obviously a commentary Let's Play, so I'm going to be talking a lot. Anyway, but hopefully I'm not overdoing it on the explanation. Again, I'm hoping this is both fun to watch and entertaining if you are new to Nioh. And again, I'm trying to spread out the information so it's not a deluge. But anyway, definitely, again, leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you're thinking of this series so far. Make sure to follow me on Twitter as well. And I will... Oh, come on. Where is it? And I will see you next time.